Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. I'm Muhammad Ibrahim Bakshi, student of Literature World, and today I'm gonna discuss you something about the Ottoman Empire. You all have known Ottoman Empire, maybe you know more than me, but in this module I'm just gonna highlight some of the points of the Ottoman Empire. So let me start without wasting any time. So before starting anything, before learning any topic or anything, what you must know about the topic is what is the topic, why do we need to learn the topic, and how the topic. About so what is for definition? You need to know what the topic basically is. So what is for that? For asking question, okay? And why is for understanding the purpose. Why are we doing that? What is the purpose of doing that? We think, okay? And how is the paradigm, the way of doing that we think. So now in Ottoman Empire, what is Ottoman Empire? So Ottoman Empire, as first of all, when you hear Ottoman Empire, what do you think? The first thing that comes into you is the Muslims, the caliphate, and the Muslim rule and the rule of equality, about the Ottoman Empire. So the Osman the First was the founder of the Ottoman Empire, although the Orhan Ghazi, who's the successor of the Osman the First, was recognized as the real founder of the Ottoman Empire, but Osman the First is the founder of Ottoman Empire because he was the one who founded it. So what we here need that Ottoman Empire, uh, it became a hope for the French. Maybe we can say the oppressed ones or the ones who were depressed a lot, and it became a fear. Means the enemies they feared about against the Ottoman Empire. They would fear that what if we would be against the Ottoman Empire? Okay, they feared a lot. And now why? Why do we need to? What is the purpose of understanding? So it's history, isn't it? So why do we need to learn history first of all? Because history, it's the story of the past. It's stories in it. So it's the story of the past. So we need to understand what was in the past, what changes have been there, what was there in the past and what's not today. How people would live there, how would they cook, how would they do different activities, and how those activities are done in today's world. Okay, so what is the purpose of understanding is to compare the ways of treating people, how at that time, how were the ruler of the Ottoman Empire would treat people, how would they conquer castles and other cities. Okay, so the idea is totally different. You can too agree with this point that in Ottoman Empire or any empire in past, they would just simply conquer the castle. There was not that much damage which is done in today's world. Like today, there's atom bomb, and nuclear bomb, which would destroy the whole world, like it was done in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in France. Okay, yeah, sorry, Japan. So it was not there. Atomic bomb, much technology was not at that time. So how did they conquer the castles and different cities like Bursa? Okay, and second is how it was established, how was it established, and who were its leaders. Means who were the ones who founded the who was the one who founded the empire, who were its successors, how did they expanded the Ottoman Empire, or what changes did they make within the Ottoman Empire to make it much bigger or much greater. And now, as I already told you, that we in history, it means the study of past. We just compare the things. We just compare past and we just compare the present time. Okay, so we can compare it in political ways, social ways, economical ways, and many other ways. But we can see that in past there was not this much damage, this much destruction, this much enmity with each other. Okay, and now the finally it's how what is the paradigm, what did they do. So in this module we are basically understanding that. So now, yeah. Now before starting, I want to just give you a brief description about the Ottoman Empire. So Ottoman Empire, it was, as I already told you, it was founded by Osman the First. Osman the First founded it in the 13th century, okay, in the northwestern coast of Anatolia. At that time, Anatolia was Anatolia was with Seljuk, dynasty. So Seljuk was almost collapsed and destroyed by the Mongols, Ilkhanate. Okay, Seljuk dynasty, it was at the verge of extinction at that very time because Mongols, they were it had trapped the maybe the very great army of Seljuk dynasty. So at that time, simply they were hard times for Anatolia. And Sultan Masud II, who was the ruler of Anatolia state at that time, made a collaboration with Mongols because, as here you can see, these are Mongols. Here, it's actually in Turkish, so I'm gonna convert it to English. Okay, so here in blue, here you can see the brown, blue, blackish color here. Okay, this is the reign of Ilkhanate. It means the area which was conquered by Genghis Khan, and then Mongols were ruled. And here you can see Seljuk. Here you can see Seljuk blue means Seljuk dynasty, and within it you can also see Anatolia. So this Seljuk state was almost destroyed by Mongols. Mongols. So what happened then? The Sultan Masud II, in order to make its state still stand on its feet, they made a collaboration with Mongols because Mongols, what did they do? They just oppressed them. But since Sultan Masud II, he made a collaboration with Mongols. Mongols didn't stop oppressing, but stopped the attacking. They just wanted to oppress them indeed, but they wanted to oppress them in the way of gold. Okay, I mean they have to pay the taxes, they have to means quite be a puppet of Mongols, so that it they means Mongols are there as well. Okay, so even one Mongol soldier, it will be more greater than Sultan maybe, but it's not quite that much. But Mongols were reigning at that very time. Here, as we can see, Byzantine wars, on the other hand, they were not in collaboration with Anatolian state. They were just against it. But what they can't attack it. Means they could not attack Anatolia because although they can, but they would then it would be a huge means huge. They need a huge army for that because as I already told you, Anatolia, the Sultan Masud, he had a collaboration with Gehatu at that time because Gehatu was the ruler of the Ilkhanate state. So Byzantine Empire, it could not do anything rather than to stay patient and see what is going to happen. So in this way, meantime, what happened? Osman the First, who was ruling in south, northwestern in the Anatolia, as you can see, he was ruling south, and he decided to make an empire. He had full faith in his state. He had even watched a dream. You may watch it on Kurulsman, but I watched it. He had a dream where maybe it was from God. Okay, you can say and you know and in Urdu we call it shar. Okay, so you can understand it. Then what? Now, basically, let's come to the topic back. Osman the First. In short, Osman Ghazi was the one who expanded Turks. Osman the First, he was in collaboration with the Sultan Masud II. He was in collaboration with him. Okay, but he wanted to make his own state. He wanted to establish the Ottoman Empire. That's why it's recognized as the one of the greatest empire because it was established in very, very, very hard times. Okay, here as you can see, so Anatolia's right shows is here. Okay, here Osman the First, his main enemy, his best and the most greatest enemy was the Enigal temple or Enigal Lord. Okay, so what happened? I'm going to tell you the whole story. So here, consider the middle point here of Domanich and Belichick. Okay, Osman the First and the Inigal Lord, they both fought here. Okay, both of them fought here. Here in this war, Inigal Lord stood victorious against Osman the First. Osman the First in this war lost his nephew Bayucha and went back to Seoul for again preparing their army or all. Okay. Then after a lot of time, because it had been a lot of time there, Osman the First went to dominate. Okay, for being against the illegal law, and this time Sultan Masud II was also with him. But due to some circumstances, he had to head back to Konya where he was living. Okay, where he had his palace because of some circumstances. But still, Osman the First stood victorious there. However, the Turhan Alp, who was one of his Alps, he got betrayed there. Okay, so what happened then? Osman the First went back to Soult, and then he started conquering, or starting to make his state. He first of all conquered this Yarhisar castle, and then from that, from that very time, after that very time, he went to Bilijik. Actually, in Bilijik, it was the marriage ceremony of the daughter of the Bilijik lord. Okay, but Osman the First, he conquered the castle and then sent Turgut Bey, okay, for conquering the Inigal castle between the war, okay, because he had much army, maybe, okay. Then after conquering Belagic, he too went to conquer Inigal castle here, okay. So you can understand that how much army he had, okay. He conquered first this, and then he conquered this, and now he too came to conquer Inigal, and finally the Inigal castle, who was much tough, which was much tough for conquering, was conquered by Osman the First. Now the main goal of Osman the First was to conquer the city of Bursa. So for doing this, he started preparations. Now wait a minute, alright? Okay, here first you can see there was only Soult and Dumanich. Okay, these two were under the rule of Seljuk dynasty. Then what happened? Ottoman Empire too got, came into existence. First, Osman the First conquered Yarhisar Castle, and then Bilijik Castle, and then the Inigil as well. So now this much is their expansion. Okay, this much. Then what happened? Osman the First, since I told you his aim was to conquer the Bursa, he started to conquer the castles. First, he conquered Kopusar, then Yenisar, then Koyunisar, then Kestel, then Orhanali, which we also call Lefka. Okay, means he conquered all these castles, except the Gemlik. Okay, he conquered all of them. Now the main thing was Bursa. Bursa was not a child's play at all. Means neither were they, but Bursa was a bit tougher than all these castles. It was not a castle. It was a whole state. Sorry, city. Okay, it was a city which Osman wanted to conquer. He sent his successor Orhan the First to conquer Bursa, and finally, in the end, Osman the First conquered Bursa. It was a very great victory. Osman not yeah, maybe we can call it we can say that Osman conquered it because it was under at that time Ottoman state was being ruled by the Osman the First. So up to this time, Osman the First had passed away. Okay, so after that, he left his throne for his only son Orhan. Here you can see after Osman the First, Orhan started to expand his empire, Ottoman Empire. He, as I told you, this much was the area conquered by Osman the First. Just imagine it's three times, three times. That is the area conquered by Orhan Ghazi. Okay, now let me show you another map. Here it is. Orhan Ghazi, who was, who wanted to expand the empire of his father, started conquering first of all Iznik. Iznik, it has a long story, but first it was conquered by Seljuk state, and then Byzantine took it, and now Ottoman Empire took it. Okay, right now you can see it's up to this much. The green portion, it's of Ottomans. So what happened now? He conquered Iznik as well as Izmit. Okay, but he was unable to conquer the Constantinople, although he tried it, but he was unsuccessful in that. Besides, he also conquered Adrianople, as you can see in the top left corner, right over here. He conquered Adrianople, Iznik, and Izmit as well. Okay, so now you can just imagine how much he expanded. Or here, green, green. Okay, let's imagine this to green as well. This area and this area. You can get an idea about it. Okay, so not only these two rulers, but other rulers were also there who expanded Ottoman Empire a lot. However, until before the Mehmed the Conqueror, Mehmed II, Constantinople was still there, which was acting as a barrier for Ottoman Empire because it was between the Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire was, it surrounded the Constantinople completely. So what happened? Mehmed II, he built it such a cannon that it broke the wall, complete wall of, Constantinople. So finally, he conquered it and named it Istanbul, which was then a city, or we can say capital of Ottoman Empire that time. So not only this, even Suleiman the Magnificent, before Suleiman the Magnificent, each and every ruler expanded a lot. Okay, it expanded, up to maybe I don't even have that much. I cannot even understand how much they did, but they did a lot. Okay, so but after Suleiman the Magnificent, there were only few rulers who were just trying to keep the state alive, like Abdul Hamid or Murad IV. Otherwise, the other rulers, they were quite lethargic. They were just sitting. They were not even conquering anything. So they were just trying to keep the state alive, but it wasn't being there. There were a lot of protests there. There were a lot of civil wars within the Ottoman Empire, which were the main reasons for its decline. Or otherwise, it was a great state which is recognized as a very, very great state in or empire in history. Besides, this Ottoman Empire had bring equality, fraternity, and freedom, and as well as unity to its all the people. So this is all for my side. I hope you liked the video and got much information about the Ottoman Empire as well. So here, I think here we say a goodbye to each other. So thanks a lot for patient listening. God be with you.